Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Range is hot. Lock and load. It's time for the Gun Rack with your hosts, Joey and Drew.
Hello and welcome to the Gun Rack's Sonoran Desert Institute School of Firearms Technology's official podcast. I was just for folks call me Joey, and with me we got one
Drew Poplin,
which is something of a misleading intro because we have significantly more than Drew Poplin and myself coming in today. This is our annual. Is this our second or
technically our third?
Is this our third firearms draft?
Yes.
Y'all know this is one of our favorite events each year. And fortunately, we had some people that agree with us. So we've got our largest draft ever on the docket today. Very exciting for the Gun Rack, very exciting for our listeners. And of course, it's NFL draft week. So it was already a pretty good week to begin with. But we're not going to do too much in terms of intros today because we have so much content to rip through. We are going to hop right in. But before we do, of course, we got to give a shout out and a thank you to the Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI, as it is more commonly known, is an online school that helps students learn the skills and techniques they'll need to be successful in the firearms and unmanned technology industries. SDI is accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, that's the DEAC, and currently we offer 3 programs of firearms technology. We've got the Associate of Science of Firearms Technology, the Certificate in Firearms Technology Gunsmithing, and of course, the Certificate in Firearms Technology Handgun Specialist Program, which is our newest program, of course. And then for more info, go ahead and hop on to sdi.edu for an opportunity to formalize your education in a really cool, really niche industry. So this is SDI's podcast, and we're grateful to them to let us keep doing our thing here. Now, Drew, can you talk about setting this thing up? Because all of the logistics behind what you're going to hear today, and this is definitely going to be one of our best produced pieces when we're done, is all Drew in the background. What was that like?
Hell. No, I'm kidding. It's, don't let Andy Williams fool you. This is the most wonderful time of the year. Draft season, folks. So this was honestly a little bit of a privilege to be able to put together. The rules are very similar to what we've had in years past. If you want to refresh or just want to re-listen to some of the previous editions, encourage you to go do that so you can kind of get an idea, especially with the size of this year's draft. Everything is going to be increased over 2-fold. So just as a refresher, some of the concepts and rules. Goal of the firearms draft is you are drafting a arsenal of firearms. This year we have a $3,000 cap limit, and you have to select 1 handgun, 1 shotgun, 1 rifle, and then 1 wild card pick. And this can be any addition to your arsenal. Some examples, you could select a firearm that hadn't been selected before, optics, knives, a bow and arrow set, Nerf gun, even a rocket launcher. It really is a bit of a free-for-all as long as you keep under that cap. Now, the firearms are priced based on their MSRP value. So if the manufacturer MSRP is listed on their website, that's kind of the general rule of thumb that we went with. However, not every company lists the MSRP on their site, which kind of created a bit of a difficult situation that we had to work through. Midway USA has the sales price, but also they have a listing price. So as a general rule, we kind of advised these teams to consult the company's website first, and if the MSRP wasn't there, then to use the Midway USA list price. Since this is such a big endeavor this year, we are being slightly more relaxed with the cap, with that $3,000 cap. As long competitors were not egregiously going over the cap, we'll only poke fun at them a little bit for it. There are 4 firearm selections to make, so there's 4 rounds in total. draft order was determined by a spinning wheel, and we will be doing a snake style format. So, for example, if you had your name select from the wheel first, you would have the last pick of the first round, but then you would have the first pick of the second round. Just to keep things fair for all the competitors involved, didn't want to give one person too much of an advantage. Once a firearm is picked, no other competitor may select the same firearm. So if someone was to select the Glock 19, no one else can select the Glock 19, but they could select another Glock product. Competitors can draft for any position with their pick. So first round, you might see a wild card get selected. You never know. These things are very crazy. Each competitor had a 2-minute time frame to make their selections. Now, we're actually here with someone that has experience. Joey, you've had experience being on the drafting side of things. Technically, but you did a lot better than I did, if I recall. Now, how do you approach drafting a firearms arsenal? Like, what sort of strategy do you go into something like this with?
All right. Well, it's important to remember when you're doing something like this that your favorite prospect is not necessarily going to be everyone else's favorite prospect. So not only do you need to evaluate what you want on your team, but you need to evaluate what everyone else is going to be targeting themselves. So if you think that a Glock 19 Gen 5 is really cool, then you need to go chase that thing down early because someone else is going to come get it if you don't. It might not be your favorite. Say you want to do that, and then you want to get a Benelli Nova just to pull something out of thin air. And that's your very favorite one out of this whole list. Well, okay, cool. But the odds of someone pulling that are going to be a lot less than someone pulling a 19 very quickly. So what you want to do is target the popular products as quickly as you can and try to have in your back pocket something that's going to be really inexpensive in case your initial plan gets disrupted. And I suspect a few people's have over the course of this, although I have not reviewed these picks yet, that you can, if someone comes and pulls kind of a middle of the road budget item for you, one of the best ways to counter, I have found, is going to be pulling something at a high price point and then something at a low price point at the same time. And the odds of someone having something very budget minded in mind is going to be low, and that's a good way to counter. So high popularity items first, and then if you have a bunch of mid-level budget things, have something high and low that you can come in with if you get sniped.
Thank you so much for that insight. Let's not wait any further. Let's get right into it. The owner of this year's first pick of the largest firearms draft we've ever done is Sergeant Stutter 89 and his team, Pop, Glock, and Drop It. Let's meet him real quick.
My name is Ty. I'll be representing Team Pop, Glock, and Drop It in the 2024 SDI Gun Draft. I'm a current student finishing up my gunsmithing certificate right now, and I'm enrolled to start the handgun course in June.
All right, and just like that, the pick is in. The first selection in the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft by Team Pop, Glock, and Drop It is the Calico M100 FS 22LR, coming in at a MSRP of $602. Now, this is a carbine rifle. Joey, first overall pick, what are your thoughts, man?
I'm a little surprised by it, to be honest with you. I had to look the thing up to figure out what it was. I had never heard of it, which means I have to assume that the fine team of Pop, Glock, and Drop It were making an attempt to pick their very favorite thing first off. They just went, that's our guy. We're going to go get our guy and forget the rest of it. And I can respect that. I think if they held off for a round and went and picked it up at the tail end of the two, it probably still would have been there, which I think makes this by definition a little bit of a reach. But if this is something that they think is going to be the bedrock of their team, then okay, that's what we're going to do.
For sure. And, even though it's chambered in 22 LR, it is probably a pretty good piece of business. Go ahead, get your rifle, which might be your highest priced item. Go and get it for a pretty cheap price for a rifle. $602, that's I would wager to say that's going to be about half of what most competitors are spending on a quality rifle. So,
Yeah, that part I do like. I like the going for a 22. Ammunitions can be cheap going down the road, and not a lot of people take that path, and it's a very good way to have something very versatile straight off. So that approach I do really appreciate and like a lot.
absolutely. Well, now, second up for the second overall pick, we have Kirby's Rings. Let's meet Team Kirby's Rings.
Hi, my name's Jackson. I also go by Kirby, and I'm the manager of Kirby's Rings team. And I was a graduate of the certificate program, but now I am currently attending the SDI 2-year program, the Associates of Science in Firearms Technology. And then I'm planning on also doing the handgun specialist.
All right, and just like that, the pick is in. Kirby's Rings with the second overall pick in the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft selects the Glock 19 Gen 5. Now, not much needs to be said about Glock for any of our listeners. Chances are you're quite familiar with Glock at this point. For me, the biggest surprise is that Team Pop Glock and Drop It did not select the Glock. Maybe that was intentional. I don't know if the team name was trying to throw.
Surprised by that approach as well. Yeah. Maybe he's got a different model in mind. If he's got something obscure that he's into and he doesn't think anyone else is going to pull it, okay, that checks out. But yeah, since round one, pick one, decided not to go with Cam Newton, Andrew Luck, then Kirby's Rings is going to come in and pick up the spare as quickly and as violently as you probably would imagine the Commanders, that is what they are called now, would run up to the podium if Caleb Williams was still sitting there after the first draft came in.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a high floor pick. I hesitate to say, because in the real draft, we know what happens whenever an analyst says this, but I'd say the Glock 19 Gen 5 is a can't miss prospect.
Yeah, that's a slam dunk pick. It's easy. You've got the opportunity. You have opportunity that you probably didn't anticipate having, which is always makes it a little more fun.
Yeah, and you didn't have to give up draft capital for that. So
that's an insane thing. We can add one of these year's trades.
That would
see, and that goes.
I don't even know how we do that, but that'd be insane. Anyway, we are now at the third overall pick. Peaceful Molotovs. Peaceful Molotovs is making their selection, but why he picks, let's go and meet him.
My name is Josh Jenkins. I'm with Tyro Firearms in Lexington, North Carolina. I am 3 weeks away from graduating with my associates in firearms technology. My team is Peaceful Molotovs. Let's get some.
All right, so that was Peaceful Molotovs, folks. And his pick is in with the third overall pick in the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft. We have the Savage Contract Model 1863 58 caliber rifle musket. Whoa.
Yeah. This is going to be one of those cases where someone really likes something and they are going to pull it in because that is what they like. And that's okay. I think in future versions of this draft, it would not be the craziest thing to add a black powder pick and extend it by rim, because I can't imagine this is the only one we see over the course of this draft. I would be very surprised if there was another black powder one coming in the first round. But MSRP of $1,290. My man just came in swinging. He knew what he wanted, and he went out and got it. It is a historical piece, as you might imagine. 58 caliber black powder musket. The reference piece they gave us is straight 1863. This is not a repro. This is an actual literal 160-year-old rifle made from Savage Revolving Firearms Company in Connecticut. And about 25,000 of them were made for the Army. This is a historic piece. This is a mil-serv guy, and I respect that. I love that just as much as anyone else. That's a lot of my stuff is in this vein. I don't know if I use my first round pick on it, but if you can make the rest of your team behave with the budget constraints you just put on yourself, more power to you.
And I want to add, I don't know if any other draft pick we're going to see in this draft is going to have as much experience as the 1863 is going to bring.
They just drafted Tom Brady.
We're talking like 150 years experience. So
yeah,
cool deal. Now we have Team Asian, which is the DEAC 2023 Outstanding Graduate Owen Chambers representing Team Asian. Let's meet them real quick.
Hey guys, Owen here with Team Asian for SDI's 2024 gun draft. I graduated with the Associates of Gunsmithing Technology in 2023. Thank you. Good luck.
Cool deal. And if you guys want to get to know Owen a little bit better and get to find out his story, please, I encourage you to go back. I want to say it's about 2-3 episodes ago from this one. I actually had the opportunity to sit down and chat with him. He's an awesome guy, and he did a lot of work helping put this together as well. So quick shout out to him. Without further ado, his pick is in, and it is the Remington 700 338 XCR tactical rifle, coming in with an MSRP of $12.99, not $12.99. That would be maybe the steal of the century.
Yeah, this is a really interesting pick. It's an expensive pick and a cartridge that I really like. 338 in the blue is cool as hell. I like that. I don't know what qualifies this as a tactical rifle, as a bolt action with a limited capacity, and it's not necessarily the most condensed barrel length or really a lot of things that marketers would tab as tactical. And of course, we know that our gun manufacturers and then the people that actually know what they're talking about are not always the same person. But I do struggle a little bit to figure out what differentiates this as tactical. Although XCR, it's worth pointing out, stands for Extreme Conditions Rifles. And it starts with an X, like it's 2002, and that's really fun. I think that what they're going for in this is that you have a rifle that can reach out and tag at long distances that is impervious to any kind of absurd weather conditions, cold, heat, humidity, corrosion, resistant, that kind of thing. So on that front, okay, we'll buy it. That's not really the point. We're getting far afield. But this is another big dollar purchase. This is another purchase that I think probably would have still been hanging around too. But Remington 700 as a platform is extremely popular. So it's less of a reach than some of these other ones we've seen recently, I think. And I think it's a cool pick. I don't think we've ever had a 338 get pulled into any of these drafts. So it's nice to see a little representation from the smaller schools in here, especially early. No, I think he picked a good time to pull that platform out. And overall good pick. Very high dollar pick. So you got to be careful about that down the line.
Yeah, it's been interesting seeing there's been a mix of lower priced prospects and then higher priced prospects. So we're seeing a big difference in strategy already in this first round. But let's go on to our next team. It's Sawgrass Superstars with the 5th overall pick. Let's meet Sawgrass.
Hi, my name is Jason Volpe, and I am from the Sawgrass Superstars. I'm a current student at SDI. I'm enrolled in the certificate program, although I've enjoyed my time here at SDI so much that I plan on enrolling in the degree program once I graduate. I really like hammer-fired semi-auto handguns, lever guns, and Beretta, so plan to see a mix of those in my draft picks, and looking forward to it.
All right, just like that, Sawgrass Superstars have made their selection with the 5th overall pick of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft. Sawgrass Superstars selects the Beretta 92X RDO, coming in at a pretty sweet price point of $7.99.
I think this is a really good pick. This is one of those, you're in the first round, you don't want to blow your entire salary cap in one pick, but you want something that's versatile. You want it to be worth your first round pick. The Beretta 92 platform is extremely popular. It makes a lot of sense to go up and get that. You picked a really good version of it. $799. It's going to get you a little more of the modern school iteration of a very popular and very good firearms platform. I think this is a great pick. This is one of the better first round picks we've seen so far, I think. And while Beretta 92s are not something that I have much experience with, if I did, and that was one of the platforms I enjoyed, this and probably the 19 would be my firsts out of this group. So very good pick, I think.
Yeah, and with it being ready for that red dot, could that be a possible tip-off for later round strategy?
It certainly could be. It certainly could be. A lot of really good shooters I know. Not that the concept of a red dot on a handgun is new. A lot of my friends are making the transition from iron sights to a red dot even now. I think that's a good pick. I think following that trend is... I just think this is a really good all-around poll. And I don't know whether this comes with a red... No, it's optic ready. But that's all right. That's all right. We can get there.
Now, let's go ahead and move on to Team Hoopers. Let's meet Hoopers real quick.
Hey guys, I'm Eric Turner, aka Hoopty, the general manager for Team Hoops, and I'm a current student enrolled in the associates program.
Right, so folks, that was Hoopers. Oh, and their pick is in now. 6th overall pick in the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft. Hoopers selects the PSA Jackal 13.7 inch 5.56 1.7 nitride MOESL EPT F5 stock rifle FDE, coming in at MSRP of $12.99. One, I appreciate the specificity in which exact model of firearm he's going with. PSA Jackal's been a name that I've been hearing a lot about. Joey, what are your thoughts on the Jackal?
Yeah, I think this is the first excellent first-round rifle pick we've had so far. Not that there's anything wrong necessarily with what we've seen to date, but I think this is a really good one. You're going to get a firearm that has been kind of taking the market by storm right now. I've seen a lot of reviews on it, and this is currently what I'm doing now here with the gun rack, the only firearms industry-specific work I've been doing. So my time has been limited with research, and a lot of that time has been focused down on the Jackal. I think it's really an interesting design. I think they've got some audio control issues they need to buffer out, not because it's a non-functional firearm, but because it's a $1,300 firearm. They need to up their game a little bit, and most of the reviewers I've seen have kind of indicated, hey, this is a good firearm. It could be a great firearm, and at a price point, it probably should be a great firearm. So this is a newer firearm, and because of that, they're going to iron out some kinks. Excuse me. Lord knows SIG has plenty of those issues, so that's not going to damn the firearm by any means. But I think you are getting a decent firearm as it is now, and I think as they continue to manufacture these things, they're going to get even better. I like this pick a lot, and it's very popular, so I think there's a decent chance someone would have come up and get it before it came back around. So good pull. The Jackal is really cool, and if you haven't seen it already, watch some YouTube videos on the thing. It's really interesting.
Yeah, he's definitely got a good highlight mixtape on YouTube. Definitely check that out. I'm also excited about his brother that is rumored to come out for next year's draft. It's the Jackal, but in 308.
Really? I didn't know about that.
Yeah. We were hearing some buzz around SHOT Show about that. So, yeah, let's keep our eyes open for that. See if he decides to make the leap to the big leagues. Next up, we got Team Chaos. That's KHAOS. This is Team Chaos. Let him introduce himself.
Hello everyone, my name is Mason Michael, and I am a part of Team Chaos. It may be Team Mason, but it's supposed to be Team Chaos. I am a current student at SDI, but I'm also a graduate. I graduated from the Associates program for Firearm Technology about 2 months prior as of recording, so back in February of 2024. It is currently 4:20 when I'm recording this. And I am currently in the certification in handgun specialization right now. So, yeah, we're looking forward to finishing up this program. I'm almost done. And welcome to the draft.
All right, and with the 7th overall pick in the 2024 Firearms Draft, Team Chaos selects the Glock 17 Gen 3. So that is our second Glock that has been selected here in the first round. So we had the Glock 19 go with the second overall pick. Now we have the Glock 17 fall here to Team Chaos. Now, just comparing the prospects, Joey, which one would you go with the 17 or would you go with the 19 for this kind of draft?
I'm kind of splitting hairs. It's more of a imagine comparing Derrick Henry to like an Austin Eckler. Yeah, Derrick Henry's had a little more longevity, but ignore that for a minute. You're basically comparing body type for very similar mission set. Eckler is not a power back by any means, but they both fill that versatile, carry your offense on your back kind of role. And the 17 is going to be the thicker cousin, and a lot of people are going to say that it's not viable as a concealed carry firearm, and I probably would lean towards that, which would give me a slight edge towards the 19, but this is another one that if you did not pick it in the first round, would probably not be there by the time it came back to you. So if you think that a full-size firearm is going to get everything done you're trying to get done, that'll work. That'll work just fine. I think the MSRP for a firearm as versatile and as quality as a Glock 17, pretty much whatever gen you're looking at 510 is going to be. That's a steal right there. And so you fill the position you need at a very, very easy price point. That's going to put you in great shape for the rest of the draft.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go on to the next team. We have Team Water Wing Warrior coming in. Let's meet Team Water Wing Warrior.
Hey everyone, it's Jake with Team Water Wing Warrior. I'm currently enrolled in the SDI Associates of Science and Firearms Technology program. I'm here to take part of the 2024 gun draft. Hopefully we can all do something good with $3,000.
All right, and with the 8th overall pick of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft, Team Water Wing Warrior selects DeMarco Mar Set Me L. This is not a firearm I am super familiar with. And by super familiar with this, I would say this is the first time I've heard of this prospect. This is the proverbial North Dakota State guy that comes in. It appears to be AR style rifle. Joe, do you have any thoughts?
I do. Actually, this is a firearm I am very familiar with. This is the shortened version of a firearm I briefly owned. And I can say, because of that experience, that this is a pick I do not like. I am hoping that their experience has been better than mine own. My first higher end air quotes, we're talking about early 20s, so take that for what you will, firearm was a Setme 308, which is a Century Arms 308 at, so that 58 HK91 is basically the off-brand version of it. So it's a 308 battle rifle version of this particular firearm. And that firearm I had sent back and forth to the assembly team that put that together, whoever was importing it, over and over and over again. I sent it to them, I sent it to my FFL, I sent it to a gunsmith. No one could get the thing to function. I never fired it once before I got rid of it. It was a piece of trash firearm. And if you're familiar with these guys, the kind of the semi firearm family, the Century Arms imported version of these semis, quality control is an issue. I think pretty much anyone who's purchased one of these or has even looked at a video about it is going to know that off the bat. I am assuming because they're choosing to draft it that either they are assuming the best case scenario for this guy or they have one where they did not have those issues. But I am going to say that the bust potential is very real. Now, so the Setme is going to operate off of a roller delay blowback action. And that is something that is grossly underutilized in today's market. I think they're really cool. That's the MP5. Think that mode of firearm and you're in the general direction. So the concept is delightful, and I love an obscure everyday rifle or a tactical rifle. So the concept is great. My experience with the C308 has ruined my desire for anything kind of imported from this family of firearms. But the particular website that's been tied into this for us to reference has it at, first of all, very high price point, $13.49. And at 1349, they better be putting this thing together for you just right. And I suspect that they've got a pretty decent warranty, so we're going to hope that for you. But if it were, 1 year limited warranty on parts and workmanship. So we are going to hope that that comes through for you. But it was not something as cool as they look, and they do look really cool. It's very 1980s looking, although it's a 70s rifle. So, whatever. The very late 20th century, I'll say, rifle. This is not one that I would put in a draft. It's not something I would trust with my life in any context. Even hunting, I wouldn't take this thing out on. Would I shoot it at a range if it were offered? Absolutely. But this is not something I would blow half my budget on. That's too much for me. But hopefully this guy has one of his own that he really likes already. And if so, more power to you. It's a cool rifle.
Cool deal, cool deal. And just for our listeners, we will be hearing from each team at the end of the draft, kind of going over their thoughts and what they were thinking, what their strategy was. So I'm looking forward to getting that insight from each of them. Now, let's go ahead and go on to our second to last pick in the first round. It's Team GOAT. Yeah, let's hear from them.
My name's David, Top Gun 484, Team GOAT. I'm not currently a student at the Sonoran Desert Institute, but looking to enroll soon for the associate degree of Firearms Technology.
All right, that is Team GOAT, and his selection is in with the 9th pick in the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft. Team GOAT selects the Taurus Judge Defender. Now, I am not entirely sure which Judge Defender he's going for, or which I tried to look it up online. My best guess, based off his description, was the Taurus Judge Home Defender.
That would be my guess too. That checks out.
Yeah, he describes it as he wanted a hand cannon in his pocket, pretty much.
We might be talking about the public defender if it's a cannon in his pocket. We'll talk about both that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in any case, lots of firepower in a pretty small package. Yeah, Joe, wait, go ahead and give your thoughts real quick.
Yeah, okay. So here's what we got. Just to break down the etymology a little bit, the Taurus Judge Home Defender is a 13-inch barrel with a foregrip on it. All of the Taurus Judges, as far as I'm aware, are chambered in 45 Colt / 410. And so you've got a few options with that. You've got the Taurus Judge. You've got one that can mount a red dot optic. You've got one that's got a 6.5-inch barrel. You've got one that's got a 3-inch barrel, which is kind of the standard one. Home Defender, as I said, is a 13-inch barrel. It's kind of a behemoth. And then the Public Defender is the concealed carry version with a 2-inch barrel or a 2.5-inch barrel. I think I've talked about this on the podcast at some point before. One of my greatest guilty pleasures is the Taurus Judge. I adore the Judge. When I saw one of my buddies buy it, I thought that was the dumbest crap I had ever seen in my life. And then I shot it, and I have wanted to find a used one ever since. That gun rocks. You stick 410 in it, you get a firearm that recoils directly backwards into your hand. It barely goes up at all. The vertical recoil is so negligible, and you are carrying so much firepower that is so easily controlled. I just cannot say enough good things about this firearm. It is one that people like to make fun of a lot because it's ridiculous, but there's a reason they have about a bajillion versions of it. And that is because it is really freaking popular. And I think this is a really good pick. I don't know that it would have been, I think Team GOAT picks second in the second round. It probably still would have been there, but I don't care. I like the statement that is being made here. I like I just really like this pick. It's kind of like when you're in the draft and someone pulls in their 14th toolsy wide receiver that's a yards after catch specialist. Is that dumb objectively? Maybe. Do I care? Absolutely not. Absolutely not too many cares. It's really good.
Cool deal. All right, and then our last pick of the first round, we have Icarus Innovations. Now, will Icarus fly too close to the sun during this draft? We'll find out, but first, let's meet Icarus.
Hello, I'm Michael Stewart. Most of you in the SDI Discord know me as Icarus. I am going to be running the team Icarus Innovations. I am a graduate of SDI. I completed the Associate of Science in Firearms and Technology in February of this year, and I am currently enrolled in the Advanced Armorers course. And that's pretty much all I have. Thank you.
All right, there you go. And with the final pick in the first round, Icarus Innovations selects the PSA Gen 3, PA-10, and 308. So, we're talking about a rifle here. Well, hold on. We're having a bit of a conversation with the rules committee, folks. So on the website, the MSRP is $1099.99. However, it appears that Icarus has defied the gods and the rules and has found a loophole. See, we specified that you had to use the manufacturer's website price, which is normally the MSRP, but since he used PSA's website and their product and their current listing prices, the judges have determined that this is acceptable to only charge him the $749.99 price that he had at the time of the draft. So expect the rules committee to take a look at this next year. For now, Icarus has saved himself a lot of money with this pick, and I say expect others to follow suit through the rest of this draft as well. Now, with that in mind, Joey, thoughts? A pretty explosive way to end the first round.
If you're going to go for a 308 AR platform, any of the AR-10s, PSA, PA-10 is a really good pick. I think it's nice baseline. Not too fancy, but it's going to get the job done, and their prices are not going to basically tank the rest of your team. So if that is a school of thought you want to go with, you could do much worse than this right here. And if you're going to do it for $749.99, congratulations, you're the Baltimore Ravens. You just kind of sit and good things just kind of happen to you in the draft. And so if you've solved your rifle problem with something as versatile as a 308 in an AR platform, and from PSA, who's I know people sometimes what's the word? Poo-poo them, I guess, for being cheaper than what the Chad's gone by. I have nothing but good things to say about PSA, honestly. And they do a lot of really good work with us here at SDI. I'd assume it's been a minute since I've been in touch with our logistics chain here at SDI since I left. But last I was there, they were great. And when I did my work with some of my other outdoors publications and whatnot, I also worked with PSA, and they were great then. Good people. So anytime you can buy into that brand, I'm going to say, dude, go for it. And I think this is a great pickup.
Yeah. And the good news for Icarus is he has the chance to capitalize because of the snake style. Yep. Because of the snake style format of the draft. He is, he has the first pick of the second round, so he's up again, and his pick is in. So the first selection in the second round of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft is the Smith & Wesson M&P 10mm M2.0. MSRP is $749. Now, Joey, what are your thoughts? Because we haven't talked too much about 10mm, I don't think.
No, and we should sometime. But my man went in with $1,500 in the first two rounds and spent exactly half of his budget and got the most well-rounded pairing that you could hope for. They're both very upgunned in terms of cartridge. 308 and 10mm is kind of intense. But if that's your profile, that's what you're trying to go for. But this is so clean and easy. Two mainline brands. The M&P is not going to stay there long at all. I don't know if someone else is going to go in and interpret the M&P as like the 9 or 40 is still being available. If it's not, this is an absolute cool coup because you've just wiped out that entire lineup for others. That one's kind of up to interpretation. So if that shows up later down the line, that's cool. But right now, we're looking at the M&P and a 308 AR-10. It doesn't really get much better than that for a 1-2 turn.
pretty good use of his first two picks, and making use of that snake style format, was able to lay low, stick to a strategy, and looks like it's paying off so far. Now we are back with Team Goat, and their pick is in, and for MSRP of $462, Team Goat selects the Mossberg International 715T flat top red dot combo. Again, MSRP, you're getting a red dot, you're getting an AR style rifle. Mossberg obviously is known mainly for their shotguns, but I appreciate dipping down into some other positions within the Mossberg lineup, able to get your rifle at a very cheap price. Mossberg is good company. Joey, your thoughts?
I think if you're going to go the 22 route, there's two really good options for you. You've got the 715 flat top and then the Ruger 1022, which I wouldn't be surprised to see show up later on down the line. I think this is a great pick. MSRP is nice and easy. You come with your red dot. It's very versatile. If this was to be you get one single firearm to go make things happen, I would say this is not an insane pick for that either. Really nice, clean pickup. The second round is shaping up to be significantly better than the first. I think both of these are really solid picks. It's really good.
Cool deal. Just like that, Team Water Wing Warrior selection is in. This is their second selection, and they've gone to Canic. They've selected the Canic. Is it Meat?
Oh, the SFT?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is another very good firearms pick. I know a couple of people that went from being newbies to being firearm, if not fluent, comfortable, conversational, with Canic's line of handguns. There was a time, not that long ago, old guy Fu Manchu, that we were talking about the Canic TP9, the TP9 SF, the TP9 SFX, or SFX, excuse me, as firearms that there was no way they were going to be any good. They were coming from an obscure manufacturer, and their pricing was so low that they were basically being dismissed. And now they are so mainstream. They're absolutely everywhere. People are using them in competitions, and they should. I've wanted an SFX since college. Back when they were really cheap, you can't get them like that anymore because people realized what kind of quality we're looking at. Canic is a much more family or household name, I should say. Really good pickup, and I think this is one that may well have been gone by the time they came back around. Really good, versatile, in the school of Glock and M&P firearm. I want to say the barrel length on this is going to make it, I think it's an 18 round, or you can get a 20 round extended mag. I'm just spitballing that though, so now I've looked it up. The SFT is going to be 18 to 20 rounds. Width is really wide. This is not really going to be a concealable firearm for you. But if that's not something you're concerned about, good pick. Really good pick.
Well, next up we have Team Chaos. Just as a reminder, Team Chaos in the first rounds selected the Glock 17 Gen 3. So it appears their handgun has been selected. Curious to see what direction they're going to go into. Is it going to be a rifle, shotgun, wild card? Well, we're going to find out right now because the pick is in. And for an MSRP of $14.99, we had the Chiappa 1892 Wildlands Takedown. Now, this is, those that don't know, this is a modern lever action rifle. So it's got the cool factor and the beautiful aesthetics of a lever action, of a classic lever action, but with modern accessories like a rail, which would give Team Chaos, a little flexibility, maybe pick up an optic in the later rounds. We'll see what the strategy is. Joey, that is quite a hefty price for a lever action rifle. What are your thoughts? Now, granted, he did go with the Glock 17, which had a pretty low MSRP, so he did have a little money to burn.
That's the way I would probably frame it. If you want to put this in a positive light, I don't know that this is the pick for me, but if you are talking about, because again, the use case for all these firearms that we're drafting is pretty nebulous. We're just in a vacuum picking things. So if you want to go out and you want to get something that's really fun, that you like a lot, cool, have at it. Tactical lever actions are very fun. So that's great. But I don't know if I would go for it, especially at this price point, dear God. But if you have a plan with where you want to execute your other picks and the price points that they would exist at, and you've got some backups in mind, that would probably be the only scenario in which I would say this is probably the right call at this point.
All right. So next up, we're back with Hoopers. Again, Hoopers in the first round took the PSA Jackal, and their pick is in. So with the 5th pick in the second round of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft, Hoopers selects the Canic TTI Combat. So we are back with Canic, folks. And this is a pretty quality firearm. This was a collaborative piece between Terran Tactical Innovations and Canic. If I recall, I've seen this priced for much higher than $949.99 not too long ago. Chambered in 9mm Luger, 18 plus round capacity, fiber optic front sights. Yep, in my opinion, this is a pretty good selection. Joey, what are your thoughts?
It's a bougie pick, no doubt about that. My man has gone, he's basically gone with 2 picks to what some people will call poverty tier and then pick the bougiest thing out of the poverty tier. So love. That's a philosophy I can get behind. The TTI Combat is just a piece of art, especially the provided link that's been shared with us to check out is got a burr bronze black combo, which is like, oh, it's so good. This is a really versatile, it's just slick. It's really optimized for a skilled shooter and just smooth operation. If this is something that you can budget around, and now you've blown in a lot of your money, so be very careful. Hoopers has picked some firearms, and if these are going to be your main ones, and I would say that you probably think they are, like you're probably not using a shotgun as much as the Jackal and Canic kind of mix, then you've really kind of lined up your trenches and invested in the right places. I think it's a really cool bag. It's not one I would make, but it's not one I object to.
All right, we continue on with Sawgrass Superstars, who have submitted their pick. They are going with the Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol.
Is this our first shotgun off the board?
I was going to say, I think it's our first shotgun pick. It was only a matter of time before you saw a Beretta shotgun come off the board. Sawgrass Superstars wanted to get it for everyone else. Yeah, Joey, give us your insight.
Really cool pick. I think what I have not seen, which I am shocked by, to be entirely honest with you, but one of those things that you go out and you get early, and if people are not thinking about it already, then maybe it's just not going to show up. So you go get that Mossberg 500 or Stevens or Savage, those field and then security combos. They cost no money. You check a lot of boxes in one, and they're extremely popular, so other people might be out to go get them. If you want to go bougie, though, the A300 is one of those few bougie shotguns I have had the privilege of taking out to shoot at a PSA event, actually, ironically. It's really cool, man. If you are willing to put a lot of your cap into the shotgun category, this is an excellent choice. I really like this, and it is a very popular model. So I would not be surprised if, even if it didn't pop up in round 3, if someone wasn't targeting it in the later rounds. So if you like it and you want to really lean into that with your cap, this is a good way to go.
Yeah, and what I like about taking the shotgun in round 2 is now you're forcing the rest of the teams in round 2 to start considering, hey, do I reach for a shotgun maybe a little bit earlier than I originally anticipated? You don't, all it takes is for one domino to fall and then things to get a little chaotic. So we'll see how that plays out. We have Team Asian up next. Their pick is in, and it is the Silver Eagle A12.
Oh, that's a bargain beta shotgun for you.
Yeah, I must confess I have not heard of this prospect before. I did receive communication from Team Asian's owner and GM, Owen Chambers, and he communicated they went with the A12 because cheap shotgun, and they are a big fan of the customer service that Silver Eagle has provided them in the past. There's already a previously established relationship there between the two parties. So we'll clear up some of the details about MSRP perhaps later. But right now, after the first round, they spent pretty big with the Remington 700. They are sort of balancing out their budget book to give them a little bit more flexibility as the draft continues to go on. Let's go ahead and move on now. We have our next pick already in. It's from Peaceful Molotovs. And with their pick, they go with the Jericho 941R. That's IWI Firearm Israeli Weapons Industries. This is a firearm that's known sort of as the Baby Eagle. It has gotten quite popular due to its appearance on the anime series Cowboy Bebop. I believe it has since appeared in, a couple other projects. It's the firearm of one of Scarecrow's henchmen in Batman Begins. So, that's probably its most... I'm kidding. Yeah, so obviously a big fan of IWI. Joey, I know you're a fan of IWI.
Yeah. So I was in poverty land when I first got my concealed carry, like a lot of people now. But I carried a clone of the Jericho 941 as my concealed carry for 6 years.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite firearms of all time. I adore the Jericho 941, and as I've been sitting here, as the draft ends, I'm probably going to throw one together. That way I can just be like, here's what I would have done out of the leftovers. I was assuming that I would get to put the Jericho 941 in because no one was going to pick it. So I'm a little miffed by that. But I adore the Jericho lineup. They've got now the 941 series. They've got so IMI and IWI, which I think you actually stumbled over introducing it. There's all sorts of weird naming conventions. So you've got the Baby Eagle, you've got the Jericho 941, you've got the Baby Eagle 2, the Baby Eagle 3, and then the Jericho Advanced. And I think right now the IWI, I'm going to look it up. I believe right now they're currently selling the Jericho Enhanced, not Advanced, Jericho Enhanced. Yeah, and they've got it. Still coming out. They've got a 3.8-inch barrel and a 4.4, and it rocks. This gun is so good. The one I've got is a TriStar T100, which is a pretty decent firearm. The sights are off on my T120. I have two versions of it. I have a compact and I have a full sights. That's how much I like it. And the sights are grievously off on the T120, and I love it anyway. This is when I was like 21, 22 going to gun shows for the first time. This was the gun I was going to look for every single time. It's the only one that mattered to me. So this is kind of like watching like Musa Muhammad's kid get drafted. Like my heart is just real full about it. So very good pick. I don't think the end of the second round is too early for it. If I were in this draft, I probably would have sniped him for it already. And for $550, you're getting a very versatile duty and/or concealed carry gun, and I can vouch it is totally useful for concealed carry. Great firearm. 10 out of 10.
Cool deal. And Joey, here being basically our IWI on-site expert, always appreciate getting his analysis. He's doing a great job this draft. Next up, we have Kirby's Rings. Now, Kirby was able to snipe the Glock 19 Gen 5 with the second pick overall. Now, let's see what he does with the second to last pick in the second round of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft. Kirby's Rings selects the Mossberg 940 Pro Tactical 5-shot. So now we've seen, I think this is our third shotgun go off the board. This is a 12 gauge. As the name suggests, it's has a capacity of 4+1, got a length of 37.5 inches, a weight of 7.5. Looks like the model I've seen has a matte blue finish, which is nice. And the MSRP on this one is $11.89. Pretty high price. But Joey, what are your thoughts on this selection?
I do not hate it. I think if I were going to go at this price point with this particular platform, and the Beretta A300 was already off the board, and for reference, the Beretta A300 and the Mossberg 940 are not that radically different firearms. They're definitely swimming in the same waters. I'd probably go into Benelli for my pick, but this is not bad. I think the 940 is going to be good. I think when you go shotgun, Mossberg is going to be the answer pretty much in any other context, so I'm not going to blame them for that. Yeah, so that is a pick I can get behind, I think. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, pretty solid first two picks for Kirby's Rings. Now, we have Pop, Glock, and Drop It closing out the second round. As a reminder, he will also have the first pick of the third round. So we'll get back-to-back Pop, Glock, and Drop It. So with this second overall pick, Pop, Glock, and Drop It goes with the Savage Bolt Action 20 gauge. This is a bolt action shotgun. It has an MSRP of $574. Before this, I've never heard of a bolt action shotgun, actually. Joey, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, they're not very common. I think they're cool. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to pick one up at a firearms draft, but my man has now done two things I would not do in a draft, and he seems to be pretty happy about it. So that's cool. Let him do his thing. The part about bolt action shotguns, I think that's cool, is is not going to be your MSRP. You find them pretty frequently in like pawn shops, used and very inexpensive, and that's the context in which I like to go get them, or would like to go get one, I should say. And for that, I think it's pretty worthwhile. But I don't know if I'd get it in a draft, but if that's something you think is cool and you want to have it on your team, the Savage Bolt Action is a decent model to make that work.
And just a reminder, Pop, Glock, and Drop It at this point, through two rounds, has spent just over $1,000. I think $1,100 at this point, MSRP. So I'm very curious to see what he does with his last two picks, to kind of, use up some of the rest of that budget he's got. Before we get to his third pick, which would be the first overall pick in the third round, we have a word from our sponsor, My Bosses, and the company that lets us do all this, SDI.
Hey there, SDI. It's that time of year again. National Rifle Association annual meetings held in Dallas, Texas, May 17th, 18th, and 19th. Come check us out, booth 5117. We'll be there, will you?
All right, so we are back, folks. Third round now. Pop, Glock, and Drop It is on the clock, and their selection has come in. With the first overall pick in the third round of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft, Pop, Glock, and Drop It selects the EMF Buntline 45 LC 12-inch with ivory grip single action. Now, if this was just an aesthetics competition, he would vault himself into top contention. This is a gorgeous firearm with ivory grips. Got a lot of power, even though it's a single shot. You got it chambered in 45, which is really cool, and has an MSRP of $825. Now, Joey, give us your thoughts on the buntline.
Yeah, I think if the first two picks made me wonder if he had taste or not, and they did a little bit, this cleans up those questions, because this is a piece of art, and I really like a good single action firearm. 45 long Colt's going to do it. I think this is a classy pickup, and at this point, we're a little less worried about draft position, right? We're in round three. We're starting to clean up here. I think he waited the right amount of time for this one. I think he picked something he really liked, and I think he picked something that is going to look really cool when he goes out to range day. Of his three picks so far, this is comfortably my favorite of his.
Yeah, it's going to be a good-looking team coming off the bus now. All right, so next up we got Kirby's Rings. Just a reminder, Kirby's Rings selected the Glock 19 Gen 5, and just a couple picks ago, the Mossberg 940 Pro Tactical 5-shot. I imagine he's probably looking for a rifle at this point. The pick is in. He has selected the PSA PA-15 20-inch nitride A2 rifle. So, as we suspected, we thought he was going to go for a rifle. He has here, coming in at a nice MSRP of $600, which, props to him. He is taking advantage of what Icarus did in the first round, which is normally the MSRP would have been basically $1,000, but Here he's getting it for $600, saves himself about $400. Joey, what are your thoughts?
I think this is a really good pickup, especially for the price point. You're looking at a nice base level AR that's going to get the job done for you. 20-inch barrel. If I'm going to get a rifle, I'd probably stick with a 16.5 inch, but there's nothing wrong with this pick. That's more of a what flavor do you prefer kind of vibe. If you're going to go out there and you're going to put away your rifle category for $600, I would have a hard time beating this at this price point. It's a real good pick for the third round for this to survive that long. The classic PA-15. It's kind of a pleasant surprise, honestly. Glad they were able to go out and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now we have the third overall pick in round 3. This is Peaceful Molotovs, and he has selected... Oh my goodness, he has selected 10 M67 frag grenades.
Oh my God. Who okayed that?
I mean, I said you could go any direction you want with your wild card, so...
Tell me you're a libertarian with your picks without telling me that you're a libertarian.
And sure enough, he has the receipts to back it up. Comes in with an MSRP of $650. So Peaceful Molotovs right now, he's rocking the 1863 58 caliber rifle musket from his first round, the IWI Jericho 941, and now he's the owner of 10 frag grenades. This is what I love about the SDI Firearms Draft. You never know what's going to happen, and it's especially true this year. Wow, that was exciting.
That was exciting. I can't really add much to that.
I mean, it's hard to argue, though. Like, if you can get 10 grenades for that kind of price, like, more power to you, man. Definitely a pretty cool addition to your arsenal. Now, next up, we got Team Asian selecting. So with the 4th pick in the 3rd round of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft, Team Asian selects the Walther PDP with a red dot, coming in with an MSRP of $600. I don't know how he managed to swing that one. Of course, the PDP, really solid handgun for sure, but definitely surprising that it fell all the way down to round 3. Props to him for that. Joey, I don't think we need to go over the Walther PDP. It's been a prospect
It's a superb firearm. Really good pickup. I only knew one guy with one, and it is the only... He likes it so much he got rid of all of his other handguns, which is an intense choice, I think. But I don't know, man. I think it's a good pickup, and that's going to cover all your bases that you need a handgun for.
Yep, absolutely. So now we move on. We're back with Sawgrass Superstars. Sawgrass, he had the Beretta A300 Ultimate Pro and the Beretta 92X RDO. Does he go Beretta again? We will find out. His pick is in. And with the 5th pick in round 3 of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft, Sawgrass Superstars take the Ruger 1022 carbine rifle, committed MSRP $389. Again, this is chambered in 22, weighs only about 4.4 pounds, has overall length of 37 inches, a barrel length of 18.5 inches. It's got 6 grooves. Yeah, Ruger is a very good brand. Joey, what are your thoughts?
The only surprising piece of this is that it lasted so long. This is up there. I think I mentioned it way back in the very early 2nd round. This is one of those firearms, if you're going to go 22, the 1022, that's it. That's the gold standard. Now, sure, there's lots of platforms that'll work for you. But if 22 is going to be part of your plans here, and a lot of folks, I would imagine, if they're going to include their wild card, 22 could fit in that. But if you're going to use the 22 LR cartridge, this is what you do. This is where you go. Getting in the middle of the 3rd is absolutely crazy to me. Really nice, clean pickup.
For sure. All right. With the next pick, we have Hoopers. Hoopers, has used a lot of his budget in the first 2 rounds, so he's going to need to save a little money. I'm expecting a shotgun here. Pick is in, and that's exactly what happens. He goes with the Panzer Arms M4 clone. the Panzer Arms M4 Tactical Semi-Automatic 12-gauge shotgun. As I mentioned, it's a clone of the legendary M4 shotgun. Uses the same gas system. MSRP of $449, so able to save a little money. Yeah, I think pretty good pick.
I think it's an interesting pick. When you get into semi-automatic shotguns and clones there, you often can run into reliability issues. But if I remember correctly, the M4 clone here has a decent reputation. It's not one I've ever shot before, but if you have a little deeper understanding of it than I do and feel comfortable taking that jump, it's a really hard to beat price point. So can't hate that.
Not at all. Not at all. And just like that, we have our next pick in. This is from Team Chaos. And he is also going with Panzer Arms. He's going with the Panzer Arms BP-12 G2. This is our first bullpup selection here we've had in this firearms draft. This is chambered in 12 gauge, barrel length of about 20 inches, capacity of 5+1. Comes in 3 different colors. They have one that's a bronze U.S. flag Cerakote, actually, and that's pretty sick. Not really my style, but it's pretty sick. Always happy to see some bullpup representation here in the firearms draft. Joey, I know you're a pretty big advocate for the bullpup style firearms. What are your thoughts?
Thoughts that I would do it with the shotgun, unless it was the Israeli weapons industry chunker. I forget the name of it, but remember the one that we handled at the gathering way back?
Was that the Tavor?
No, the Tavor's their rifle, their bullpup shotgun. It is. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up now. It is the. Oh, it is the Tavor TS12. Good, you were ahead of me. I was thinking of the X95, which is of course their 5.56 offering. Cool deal. Yeah, the TS12 I think would be interesting, but this is one that tends to be on sale a lot. And so even if it's not something I would necessarily carry into the whatever ambiguous scenario that we're describing here, it'd be really cool to pick one up on a sale like that.
Cool deal. And just a reminder, Team Chaos now has the Glock 17 Gen 3, the Chiappa 1892 Wildlands Takedown, and now has added the Panzer Arms BP-12 G2 to their lineup. So we'll see what Team Chaos does for their wild card in the last round. But before we get there, Team Waterwing Warrior is up. This is the third to last pick of round 3. And with this selection, oh my goodness, Team Waterwing Warrior goes with the Pulsefire UBF Flamethrower. So this is a underbarrel flamethrower, so you're able to attach it to your firearm. I encourage you guys, check out this highlight tape. Go to their website. It is insane. It's battery powered. Rail mount pull has 20-second capacity. Backpack capable, and maybe the best part of this is you're getting it for $510 from the website. That's insane. So I wonder what he's going to pair that with. Is he put that on the Stepme he got in round 1?
Oh no. I don't even want to contemplate it.
We'll have to see how the season plays out to see how the utilization comes through, but
yeah,
it's pretty cool. All right, next up we got Team Goat selecting, and they have selected with the second last pick of the third round of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft. They go with the Benelli M2 Field Shotgun, coming in at MSRP of about $1,600. This is a 12 gauge shotgun. I don't mind the pick here at all. Joey, how do you feel about it?
It's pretty pricey. I think it's allowed. I think if you're going to go for something as iconic as that, and you want to make the budget that much of a priority, that's cool. If we're looking at that though, let's see. Team Goat has also run.
He also had the Taurus Judge,
the 15 and the Judge. So that's going to be $1,100, $2,600. He's going to have a very tight window here coming out the very end. So I'm curious to see how he sticks the landing there, because budget is now definitely coming into play.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like he knows the kind of team he wants.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about that.
All right, now with the last pick of the third round, we are back with Icarus, who threw a bit of a wrench into the whole drafting system. Controversial player here, but very excited to see the direction he goes. He's had a solid draft so far. As a reminder, he had the PSA Gen 3 PA10 and 308 with his first pick, and then he had the Smith & Wesson M&P 10mm M2.0 with his second pick. So it's been a while since we've seen him, but with his third pick, he's going with Savage 320 Security. So that will be his shotgun pick. This is a pump action shotgun. MSRP is coming at $239. Pretty good price, Joey. What are your thoughts as we end out round 3? How things are shaping up?
I think the 320 Security is a really astute, nice pickup. This is one you often see it on like sales for like Christmas ad and whatnot. And it is one that a lot of intro level firearms users, firearms purchasers, this is where they'll start. And it's a really good one for that. So being up at the end of round 3 is great. I think a lot of people are going to be finding their cap going in now. So what they do with their wild cards or whatever their final category is, I'm going to be interested to see how that breaks down, because I don't know that smooth sailing is a lock here.
Yeah, I think Icarus himself has about $1,000 left, maybe just a little less than 1,000 at this point. But we're here at the final round. Icarus has put in his pick, and with the first pick in the last round of the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft, Icarus Innovation selects the Vortex Strike Eagle 318 by 44. So this is an optic. It's coming around at a pretty hefty price point. I think that's going to put him over slightly on the cap. Probably have to deal with the cap penalty come next year's draft.
But Vortex Strike Eagles do have a sterling reputation. It's not what I use by myself. I use Primary Arms pretty much exclusively and really like them. But Vortex is excellent, so it's hard to go wrong with that pick.
Cool deal. Now, this last round's going to go by really quick. Team GOAT, with their final selection, has made the wise choice, keeping under the cap by selecting the SOG Tactical Tomahawk. You know what? I always love seeing when stuff like tomahawks or bow and arrow sets, knives, when those end up getting selected in the firearms draft. This comes in at $48 because he was spending pretty heavy there for a while. So
yeah.
Good job keeping it under the cap. And tomahawks are cool. So, props to you. Next up, Team Waterwing Warrior. What are they going to pair with that flamethrower they selected in round 3? I don't necessarily think this is it. It seems like they need to take a shotgun here. Otherwise, they're going to be outside the rules. And the pick is in. That's exactly what they do. They go with the Mossberg 599 shots. So definitely get a lot more capacity there. MSRP of $616. The picks keep coming. Sorry, folks, this just keeps getting very quick. Chaos has put in their selection right off the jump. It is Pieta 1851 black powder revolver 7.5.
Well, I've got one of these, actually. I don't have it in 44, but I do have it in 36. And for a black powder revolver, it's delightful, very easy shooter. I really like one.
Yeah, it's very nice looking firearm too. That's gonna put him at about $330 MSRP. Hoopers is up next. Hoopers has also selected a Vortex scope. He goes to the Vortex Crossfire 2 for 12 by 44 millimeter rifle scope. Surely he'll probably be putting that on his Jackal. Yeah, and as expected, we're seeing a lot of guys pick up optics.
Optics on the way out.
Yeah, and that one's a lot. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know much about the Crossfire from Vortex, but it does come in about 10 times cheaper than the Strike Eagle. Next up, we have Sawgrass Superstars. They're also going with the optic. They select the Hollow Sun 407 Comp Red Dot, coming in at $435 MSRP. And just like that, Team Asian has selected their final pick. This round is going so quick, ladies and gentlemen. This Team Asian goes with the Kershaw Carabit Outlier.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, coming in about $58. This is a blade. So yeah, this is the tactical blade. Good pickup there as he closes out his draft. We got 3 more picks and they're coming in quick. We got the peaceful Molotovs and they dip down, get their shotgun selection. As a reminder, peaceful Molotovs with their 3rd pick with 10 frag grenades. So they needed to get a shotgun and they got one here. This is the Stevens model 520 12 gauge. And this is basically, it was a pump action shotgun developed by John Browning. First appeared in Stevens' 1909 catalog, number 52. And currently MSRP on that is $250. So good way to save some money there at the end as well. Kirby's Rings, with their final pick, have selected the 6 Hour Tango MSR FFP 110 LPVO. So also going to get that optic there. And now with the final pick in the 2024 SDI Firearms Draft, this belongs to Pop Glock and Drop It, the guy that kicked us off with the Calico M100 FS22LR. He selects the McLennan Cannon Company Mountain Howitzer 18-inch cannon. This fires billiard balls. So we knew he had something cooking because he still had a fair amount of money to be able to drop. He'd been conserving his money quite well. So we knew something was coming, and wow, he just goes and gets a cannon. Joey, I don't even know what to say. What are your thoughts?
Hey, he's a highlight reel, you know? It's hard not to see what he does and be in anything less than awe. I think the lineup that he has, being able to do anything with it down the line, might be a little tricky, but one thing at a time. We're here for a good time, and I think he's going to have a good time with what he's picked here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot wait to hear what everyone's strategies were. We will get to that, and we'll be hearing from Pop Glock and Drop It first. But before that, just a quick word about SDI, just so everyone is aware. NRA, their annual meeting is coming up. It is their 153rd annual meeting. This year, it's in Dallas, Texas, on May 17th through 19th. And SDI will be in attendance. It's a massive event, one of the biggest shows that we attend all year. Keep your eyes peeled for any announcements, for any emails. If you're a student or grad, you've probably already seen it go out. Just keep your eyes out open for that. There's a good opportunity for you to not only network with industry professionals, but meet some of the SDI team as well. So if you're interested in that, be sure to keep your ears and eyes open for that. Now, let's go and get into some of the explanations. We will be going in the first round order. So we'll start with Pop Glock and Drop It. That's Sergeant Stutter 89's team. Then we'll kick it to Kirby with Kirby's Rings. We'll check in with Tyro Firearms and his team Peaceful Molotovs. Owen from Team Asia will talk. Snarky J with the Sawgrass Superstars. Hooped, which, as the name suggests, is in charge of hoopers. Chaos with Team Chaos. Tyrelli 47 with Team Watering Warrior. Top Gun 484 with Team Go. And then, of course, Icarus with Icarus Innovations. So that'll be the order that we're doing this in. Let's hear some of the rationale behind these picks, what their strategies were, and really excited about that.
All right. So I figured somebody was going to go practical and or tactical. I didn't want to go that route. I also figured there was going to be some meme picks, so I didn't want to go that route. Try to go for obscure. Just watched Spaceballs last week, and I was like, I wonder, $600, that had to get picked. The shotgun one, I shot a 16 gauge bolt action from a Sears Roebuck catalog a few months ago. It was useless, but fun. So I was like, bolt action shotgun, not great, but they're fun. I love Savage, so I went with that. The pistol, again, 12-inch barrel, not practical to carry. Why not? And then the wild card. I mean,
I wanted the Glock 19 because it works. For $500, you really can't go wrong. I mean, it is the standard for a reason. Yes, you could probably go a little bit cheaper and get like a P10, or go a little bit more expensive and get like a Shadow Systems. But Glock, middle of the road, it's good to start with.
Okay.
And then for the shotgun, my original pick was because it's reliable and it's cool. This one, the 940, that's like newer, but it uses a similar concept gas system to like the M4, the Benelli M4 and M2 shotguns, or like the Beretta 1301 or the A300. You know, they all kind of use the same inertia driven system now. So
Yeah.
that's just more of like it's reliable, it's semi-auto, it's a modern, like contemporary option that isn't super ridiculous. Then I went with the PA 15 20-inch because it's a really easy to shoot rifle. Even though it's got a 20-inch barrel and a fixed stock, the stock can be changed out for whatever you want, really. If you have $100 in a month or two, you can change it to a collapsible stock. And then the optic, I picked the Sig Tango just because I have that on my AR-10 right now and it works and it's cheap. You know, for less than $1,000, it can go on something that's decent. I went with like these picks mainly because like if I lost all my guns today, what would I go for tomorrow? And I had $3,000. This is what I would go for.
So I went with a mix of both practical and stuff that I've worked on, or stuff that I plan on working on. So the 1863 I have worked on. It's been in my shop, so I've worked on one. The Jericho I want to work on, and I love Cowboy Bebop. Who doesn't, right? The Stevens 520, because I've worked on that. I've worked on one just like it. The guy brought it in and said, "Hey, this thing does something weird when I fire it." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What's supposed to do that?" He's like, "Well, that's dumb." And I was like, "I'll buy it from you." He's like, "Nah, it's my boys." Anyway, moving on. And then the M67 frag grenade, and I'm getting 10. I forgot to mention that I'm getting 10. So funny enough, you can buy the shells off Gunbroker, like you can buy 40 Mike shells off of Gunbroker. And if you have the right government tax thing, you can build your own stuff.
So I went with all picks from things that I actually own. So Remington 700, 338. I own that. Love it. Killed a ton of deer with it. I wanted something where I can really stretch it out, and if I had to touch something super far away, I could. Silver Eagle A12. Look, super cheap shotgun. You don't really care if it gets messed up, but it runs. It'll shoot anything. High brass, low brass, whatever. Doesn't jam. AR-12 magazines are notorious for being like absolutely horrible for cycling. This thing just runs. Also, I had the charging handle break on it, and I sent it to their main office, which is in Texas for some weird reason. I called their helpline, and I had some American dude say, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And I said, "Hey, my charging handle is broken." He said, "Yo, just send it to this address. We'll get it fixed. No problem." They got it back to me in 4 days with a new bolt carrier group and charging handle. No problem. So can't really say too much else about Silver Eagle, but awesome customer service, and they replace your with brakes. The Walther PDP, just bought that pistol. Love that thing. MSRP $600. Don't care what you guys say, but it's definitely $600. And in my EDC bag, Karambit, Kershaw Karambit. I love it. I've never had to use it for anything besides opening Amazon packages, but I just want to say works phenomenal. So my picks were kind of inspired by actual things that I own. So
I went with things that I actually own, although my 92X is a Centurion. So in my intro video, I said I loved Beretta, so I felt obligated to put Berettas in there. But the 92X, I just love the firearm. It's the smoothest action. Like it just feels so great. Like when you rack the slides, just really well made. The fact that the RDO just means it's cut for an optic, which is super handy today's day and age. I'm really accurate with it. I just love it. The A300, it's just a cool looking, reliable shotgun. It just functions well. It's pricey. I was actually debating between this and the 1301, but the 1301 would have put me over my budget, I believe, or I would have been close. So I went with the A300. Yeah, it's just a beautiful, it's like a work of art, that gun. And then for my the 1022, I actually have a 1022 takedown, but it was like twice the price. So, and that would have put me over. So I went with the standard 1022 carbine. It's super cheap to shoot. They're super fun. it's just a great fun gun that you can just take out and shoot, and it only costs you a couple bucks. It's just 22 is just a ton of fun. And then the 507 comp, I went with that because I like the fact that it has like 4 different reticles. Holosun people give it a lot of gripe because it's not like Trijicon or whatever, but they make great. I've never had an issue with mine. Like I've dropped my firearm like right on the optic. It's like built like a tank. Works really great. I've used it for a USPSA competition. Just a good red dot for a great price. And they're not $435. I mean, you get them for way less than that. So yeah, I tried to go with things I have experience with and that I like. With the shotgun, I originally was going to do the Kalashnikov Ultima, which is the MP155, but I couldn't find an MSRP for it because it's technically not on the market yet. It's like this cool futuristic Beretta looking like shotgun, but it's got like thermals built into the tang, and it was just really cool, man. But
So I pretty much put myself in the mindset of I've got $3,000 to go get guns today to one, be kind of cool, kind of different, and then be very cheap to shoot. So PSA Jackal, there's been plenty of videos where you can shoot that thing forever and it'll still shoot and you can run in 5.56, not too expensive. So it's not too bad. Mechanic TTI Combat is just super cool. It's 9mm and it's a Cairn tactical gun for underneath $1,000. And you get slide cuts, you get 2 magazines, and you get a holster. So why not? And then the Panzer M4 clone, I bought one recently and I put rounds through it and it just eats. So I was like, yeah, that's an easy little shotgun. And then for the Vortex Crossfire, Hollow Stun didn't load in time. And so Vortex was up. The Crossfire just happened to be there. And I was like, all right, cool. That puts me underneath budget. So we'll go for it.
Well, I went with my Glock 17 because one, it's my dream pistol. And the first time I went shooting, that was the first gun I shot, and I fell in love with it. I went with my Chiappa 1892 Wildlands Takedown because it's a modern lever action for that sort of price. Pretty well done in 44 Magnum. I'm not seeing how practical it would be in a survival situation, but you can put your M-lock attachments, your LPVO. If it has a threaded barrel, you can put a can on it. You're set. It's a lever action, though. Just beautiful. Most of these I've picked were for aesthetic purposes. The Panzer Arms BP12 G2. Main reason I picked this one is because when I saw it, it had an American flag on it. And America is a cheap shotgun. Forgot to pick a shotgun, so it was like last minute, got to find something out real quick. And then the Pieta 1851, I just had to have a black powder gun for my wild card. And then saw that, like, okay, why not? Sure.
I figured I would do like half meme, but half practical because one of the guys actually had a good thing. Like, he looked at YouTube videos before he bought any guns on, hey, this is my budget. What do I do? So I'm like, okay, pistol, right? I went with the Met SFT, 18 round and 20 round mag, reversible inside and outside the waistband holster, toolkit, cleaning kit. Like, that's perfect for anyone starting. I used to own the TP9 SFX for a little bit of competition shooting. It was great. Same thing with the shotgun, a 9-shot 590 with a heat shield ghost ring sight is perfect. The Setme, I've always loved like the Spanish Setme guns. So like the Setme L and the Ameli light machine gun. And it's one of the guns I've always wanted to buy, but I can't like justify it to myself. So I haven't got it yet. So I wanted to throw that one on there. And then the flamethrower, I'm like, what's the weirdest I can actually afford and find a price for? So I found a flamethrower that you can mount on the rail, mount on a rail of any gun. So like either you hand carry it or you throw it on whatever you want.
So my first one was the Judge Defender. I'll be honest with you. I was gonna go with the Glock, but somebody beat me to the punch. I was like, hey, you know what? Who doesn't want to have a shotgun in their pocket? So I thought it was pretty good. The Mossberg International. I'll be honest. Originally, I thought the M4 was gonna get picked by everybody. Decided to go with the International little 22 little plinker because guess what? 22s are good for rabbit hunting and all that other stuff. And then of course the Benelli field shotgun. myself, I have hunt dogs, specifically duck dogs. So, well, a good duck shotgun is good. And then, of course, as we kind of discussed earlier, the good old tomahawk. I mean, come on, like you can use that for wilderness, cutting trees, whatever. It's just a great tool to have.
Basically, everything I picked a 308, a 10 millimeter, and a 12 gauge. And with those three weapons, you can hunt or survive in any situation on the planet, pretty much, except maybe in the Sahara and Africa. I don't think you can take a rhino with a 308. With a 308, a 10 millimeter, and that 12 gauge, you can go anywhere on the planet and survive in just about any situation. And that scope, I intentionally wanted that scope because it's a minimum zoom of 3, so you can still use it in close quarters if you need it, use it in a combat situation. But it goes all the way up to 18, so you can reach out and touch someone if you need to.
All right, so you heard it straight from them. I felt like that definitely helped me understand what was going on. It's cool seeing how many different strategies and philosophies that these teams have. It was really neat getting to see that. Now, Joey, I believe you mentioned it before. I guess this could be your best remaining prospects, what you would have done with the leftovers. Now, what's your team?
I went through a couple options, and there are some that are more serious or some that are more fun. So I'm going to give you one of both. The rifle is kind of what dictates the game here. The issue for me was that the rifle that I will go with is the Galil Ace Gen 2, the father of all good firearms. And it is really freaking expensive. The MSRP, I think, is $1,900. So that wasn't going to fly. So what I probably would do instead, if I were going for like practicality, is go for it's technically a side full length pistol. We're going to call it a rifle because we're going to SBA short barrel it. And that's going to be the PSA AKP GF3 MOE triangle side folding pistol in OD green. It's a 7.62 by 39. That's a little more moderately put together, a little lighter, which matters to me more and more the older I get personally. And it's a really, PSA makes a lot of great AK models. This is one of them, $949. It's an MSRP on that. If I were going to go for a more realistic build, I would probably go Mossberg 500 combo, which actually I have in both. So we'll change that. But for the realistic one, Mossberg 500 combo will be the way to go. And then we will go with a P365 XL. And once those are done, I'll go get an optic for my AKP, which is going to be a Primary Arms SLX 3x32, which is just for, this one will be just for the 7.62x39 platform, which means the bullet drop and whatnot will be dialed in for a cartridge that famously does not shoot on a flat trajectory. My more goofy one involves the Circuit Judge, which is a 410. It's basically the Taurus Judge, but it's got a shoulder stock and a lengthy barrel. I think it's technically classified as a rifle, but I'm going to call it a shotgun because it shoots 410. I think that's defensible. We're going to go with the AKP again, simply because I think it's really cool. And $949 is a nice base level price point for that. And then we are going to go with the Primary Arms SLX 3x32 for that rifle. And then just so that my everyday carry when I'm walking around the wastelands with my rifle and my pistol are the same, we're going to go with the Pocket AK, which is a one-shot Derringer in 7.62x39, which retails for $389. That way, we only got to keep track of one type of munition and then some shotgun shells. Either way, there's some pretty good options left over. The 6-hour P320 entered the mix there briefly. I decided against that because, frankly, a lot of people hate it. I didn't feel like getting yelled at. There's a million rifle options left over. Ruger's bolt-action rifles were in touch. The American Ridge, I think I put in a draft a couple of years ago, and I stand behind that. And the only reason I didn't include it here is because I have done it before. And the Ruger ARs are solid. They're really good. So that's all a win. But some of my normal builds of the 941 was gone. The Savage 320, which is another one, is gone because there's a fuel combo version of that, I believe. A lot of the really good optics are gone. The Baby Eagle, of course, is gone, and all the Glocks are gone. Oh, and there were no CZs at all in this lineup, which surprised me, but they're a little expensive, so I left them off the list. So if you want my official one, it would be the PSA AKP GF3, the Mossberg 500 fuel combo, the primary arms SLX 3x32, and then the P365 XL. I believe that's still under cap. If not, it's very, very close.
Cool deal. Cool deal. Yeah, there was definitely some names that I was surprised that fell through the draft and just didn't get picked up.
Seriously.
There'll definitely be some really good undrafted free agents available for anyone. Now, to our audience at home listening or watching this, first of all, let us know which team had your favorite picks, which drafts that you liked, and then what picks would have you made from the firearms that were left over that didn't get picked up. Very curious to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave your comments below. This has been our excellent firearms draft. I personally want to thank all the competitors for taking part. It was really cool to see this initiative get as big as it has just in, 2-3 years, I guess a 2-year span. It started with just me and Joey sitting in his dining room making picks together, and now seeing it grow to 10 volunteers. That's really cool. Thank you to Owen for his help. Joey, thank you so much for joining me on commentary and providing most of the insight into this. This is, again, probably one of my favorite things that we do on the podcast, and so I can't wait to see how it continues to grow. Joey, I leave it to you, man.
Yeah, guys, this was a blast. Thank you for helping us turn a goofy little thing into a bit of a tradition, and thank you guys for your participation. It means that what we do does not go off into a vacuum necessarily all the time, which is great. Y'all have fun out there. Thank you for listening. I'm very curious to see how long this episode turns out to be, but thank you for listening through all of it, and we will see you at the range.
Sonoran Desert Institute is an online school accredited by the DEAC. It is headquartered at 1555 West University Drive in Tempe, Arizona. For more information about how you can craft your firearms future, visit sdi.edu.